We keep hearing it time and time and time again that sealed product in the Pokemon TCG is the king of investments. Or is it? Alright guys, just a reminder down below is the link for the giveaway. Of course guys, if you're interested in that, jump in. We're going to go until January 20th on that giveaway, so that way it gives you an opportunity for all my subscribers to get in on that. Once again, there's several options to join. I'm not going to go through them all in this video, but once again, the link below will have the video that you need in order to get the information, and also the link to the forums. So that way you have the way of getting around to get your tickets for the giveaway and put the tickets on items that you want. Once again, I want to give you guys what you want at the end of the day. Now, today I want to sit here and take a look at people saying that the sealed investment market is the king of investments in Pokemon. And yes, they do well. I will say, if you want a very solid, safe Pokemon investment, definitely sealed product in Pokemon is a great location to be. You do have to do very little. You have to do maybe a little bit of research if you want to get the best gaining products. You can also do a little bit more research on trying to be sure that you're buying at the right time. But overall, you can almost buy something at release or shortly after release when it does its dip or after a reprint, and then hold on to it for 6 months, a year, 3, 5 years, and you will do well on that product. I mean, all of us kind of keep that kind of inventory usually when it comes down to it. Now, not everybody, but I mean, a lot of people do keep a sealed stash of products that we usually put to the side with the intention of using it as investment or leverage later on down the line. And that's just a fact of how you look at investments. But when it comes down to the king of investments, is it really the king of investments? Is this really the best bang for your buck? And overall, and this is something that I'm doing new this year, this is kind of my new rotation or my new business idea to try and really start working on the investment side now that the craziness of 2020 and 2021 have died down. 2022 has gone through, and we finally seen, a settling and a stabilization of this market. We're seeing good increases on newer sets. We're seeing good turnaround with new people coming in and people leaving. We're seeing the normalization of this market, which is great. I mean, compared to a lot of other TCGs, Pokemon has done extremely well, which is fantastic. As a company with Pokemon International, they have done extremely well of not just printing everything to death and killing every product like we've seen with so many other TCGs. So thank you, Pokemon International, for doing that. But I would like to see a little bit more product on the shelf, guys. It's getting pretty bare out there on some of the things. I mean, there's definitely some product coming, but not exactly the most desirable products. So once again, that brings you down to the situation. Do you wait for reprints of some of these newer sets, such as Silver Tempest, Astral Radiance, Lost Origins, Brilliant Stars, or even Evolving Skies to hope to get in on that sealed product? Or do we need to start maybe looking at other alternatives that may be better alternatives at the end of the day? And today, I'm going to go ahead and show you some evidence. I'm going to go over that. I'm going to tell you the downside and the plus side of going this direction versus sealed. And you guys can make a decision on whether or not this is something you want to pursue. So, for me, the new direction that I'm going to be, you're going to probably see more of it as I move into this year, is going to be working on graded cards. Now, why am I going this direction? When you sit down and look at it, you can do sealed product, and we can take a look at all the booster boxes. Everybody knows that there's been gains on all of these booster boxes that have been released recently, and I'm going to give you just the numbers real quick. And we're going to go from Vivid Voltage, we have a 14% increase. You go Battle Styles, we have a 22% increase from its low to its current, or where it's at right now. If you go to Chilling Reign, we've got a 25% increase in its price. If you go to Brilliant Stars, we're up to 34% increase. Evolving Skies, of course, the monster of the set, and the reason I put this one as kind of the last one on the list is 177%. That is a monster out there. Of all the sealed product and of all the booster boxes that are out there currently, that one is going to be your monster. Once again, Brilliant Stars, still probably in a risk of a reprint. It's hard to tell if Pokemon's going to go that direction with reprints, how much they're going to do with Scarlet and Violet. But I would definitely not put off a reprint of Brilliant Stars. Anything from Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Lost Origins, Silver Tempest, reprints are not off the table. I question on how big they'll be, but definitely not off the table. So I don't really want to look at those as hard as compared to the older sets that have gone through their rotations, have gone through their reprints, most of them. Evolving Skies is probably the only other victim back from that 2021 year that's probably in danger of a reprint just because of how high that price is. And it really does come down to Pokemon. How heavy are they going to reprint that if they go and reprint that? And there's a lot of questions when it comes down to it. So overall, that is your percentage gains. I mean, you go back to ones that have gone through several reprints, we seem to see between a 14 and, at the best, a 25% increase on those products. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that over the last year, realistically, on those products, that's what you were looking at percentage gains, which is really good. Let's be honest, for a sealed product and doing really nothing but picking it at the absolute lowest price, and this is, once again, if you bought it at the absolute lowest price, not buying it 2 months ago when it was in between, these are, if you bought it at rock bottom prices and waited 1 or over a year for some of these in order to come up in that price, that's what you would be looking at. Now, is there another alternative to where you could maybe get some turnaround and see some really good opportunities in this market to potentially get better investments? You can either hold them, you could sell them as a business aspect for investments, and it still doesn't take a lot of work. Realistically, your hardest part is you're going to have to mail it twice. You're going to have to receive it twice. You're going to have to mail it twice. You're still going to have to list it. You're still going to have to use a listing service such as TCG Player or eBay or Mercari, or, you can even start your own website or use other alternatives such as, Facebook Marketplace and stuff to sell these. But regardless, at the end of the day, you're going to be probably using an outside service in order to get the sales on these things. But it does give you some great opportunities for some gains. And I'm going to talk about a few of these right now, and we're going to go over it and take a look. Now, we're going to go for the newest set that I would have been looking at because there's not that turmoil. Brilliant Stars itself is kind of settled in a little bit. Yes, we may get a reprint, but there's still time, in my opinion, that if you did it today or right in this time frame, that you could still see potential on this. And that's going for the graded card market, guys. The graded card market is getting to be a really good, lucrative market currently, and it's not as difficult as you think. Some people really think that graded cards are difficult to do. Well, if we go ahead and take a look, for example, out of the Brilliant Stars, the Rainbow Rare Charizard. Once again, a pretty simple card. The price is continuing to come down on that singles. You can purchase that single right now between $70 and $80 roughly. And if you figure you're going to have $20 to $22 in grading services to send that to PSA, you're looking at $100 to $102 currently in order for the total package price of that, with, you can figure tax and stuff like that. Currently, if you were to go ahead and take a look at the actual sales data on that card when it comes down to the PSA 10, for example, PSA 10 is running 114% over that, guys. If you can get a PSA 10, and this one grades really easy as a PSA 10, there are 3,600 of these in a PSA 10 compared to 1,249 in the PSA 9. So obviously, it's a little bit easier of a grade. So if you know what you're looking at for the basics of a card, with centering, look for edge wear. Surface is sometimes really difficult to catch all those things, but PSA is a little bit more forgiving than like AGS and sometimes CGC on that surface. But once again, defects, things like that, you can catch really, really well. But overall, people are selling these cards fairly reasonably at that $70 to $80 range. With the costs of everything, you're looking at getting at a PSA 10 114. Now, if you go ahead and get a PSA 9, let's just say worst case scenario is you get a PSA 9. Right now, they're selling for about $115 to $117. You're still going to make even on that card, or at least get a couple percent gain on that one. Once again, a little tighter than I like. I like to at least break even at 8, but overall in the market, though, with the great ability of that and how many 10s come out, with a little bit of research and a little bit of understanding on the graded cards, definitely a great opportunity to quickly get a 114% gain in 2 months. 2-3 months at the most right now is what we're seeing on the grading turnaround times, even on these promotionals that they're doing through PSA. So if you wait for the next promotion to come around, we might see $15 PSA submissions coming up here again February. February, March would be my guess if I was going to throw a time frame out. Definitely reduces that $22 cost and makes that PSA 9 even more affordable. Plus, in that time frame, with the trajectory of the single, it might actually come down a little bit further in price. But we're actually seeing the 10 and the 9 either A, moving up slightly, or at least staying even at its current pricing. So we're probably not going to see a huge price drop on the graded side of it, but the raw and the grading cost may come down. Once again, we're going to go back to Brilliant Stars, and this is a pretty simple one I'm going to put up here. That's going to be the Charizard V from Brilliant Stars. Simple card, right? Raw, you can pick it up for around $36 all day. And then if you put on your grading fees, well, actually it's $30, and your grading fees bring it up about $50, $52. So right now you're looking at about 50, 52 with the grading costs to ship it out and send it and get it back at current pricing. And of course, that raw has been sitting pretty consistently right around that $30 mark, 32.28, right in that range. You can pick these up right now, and then if you get a PSA 10, which once again, this card is grading fairly easily in a PSA 10 compared to a 9.8, any of the other grades. So currently you're looking at about 112% takeaway. You're going to be going up to about $106 right now for the PSA 10. It's gone from 105 all the way up to 105.60 all the way up to $120. So I went the lower one with that. You're looking at 112% increase. Once again, great opportunity to wait 2-3 months, turn around. Yeah, you're going to have to list it. You're going to have to ship it twice. I get it. You got to have a little bit of risk involved with that, trying to get that 10. But even on this card in particular, let's say that you do get the 9. It's still selling right now for about $65 to $72. You're looking at about a 25 to 27% increase on your value just by getting it graded. Once again, doesn't seem like a lot of money, but with very little risk in this card, you're still looking at a 25% markup, which beats every single one of the actual booster box investments from the last year, and gives you an opportunity to take a risk and maybe get that 10 where you could blow that sealed product listing right out of the water. So once again, these are why there's some reasons I'm really starting to look more into grading. I'm starting to purchase some cards that I'm wanting to get graded that I'm going to use as this. And I'll let you know as I go, like a little bio of how this is actually going. I want to keep up to date and just let you know the successes and the failures I have on this, because it's been a long time since I've done graded cards. 2019, I was doing them, and it worked really well. But since then, the market's gone kind of crazy, and these things have changed. And once again, we have to adapt to the market when it comes down to doing this as a hobby business and also doing this as an investment aspect. So last two I'm going to put up here. This one's kind of a crazy one. I would have never expected this one, and I was just kind of messing around, and I ran into it. There is a card from XY Flashfire, Poke Center Lady. It's actually fairly easily available on TCG Player, Toad and Troll. Even eBay sells quite a bit of these. I like the eBay listings a little bit better because then I can see a lot of the pictures of the cards I'm purchasing before I do, in order to potentially get a better chance of getting a 10 on this card. Now, funny thing is, this card with grading is going to cost you about $38. So you're looking at a $18 to $20 card, and you're looking at a $38 to $40 investment into the grading side of it. When this comes back, if you can get a 9 or a 10, so if you do your due diligence and you think this card is going to be a 10, and worst case scenario, it comes back a 9. A 9 currently, and there's been recent sales of this card in the last couple weeks, it's been selling for $112 to $115. That's a 195% increase on your profit on that card by simply grading it. Being a middleman, buying a single, and getting it graded. If you can get the 10, if you can pull it off and get the 10 on this card, you're looking at a $365 to $378 card. That is an 860% increase on your money. And it takes 2 to 3 months to get that card out, get it back, and list it. And it's been selling fairly recently. I mean, it's not like these are old sales from last year. These are all within the last couple weeks on both the PSA 10 and the PSA 9. So there are sales available for that particular product. Once again, that's why I've been really looking at this. You find those little niche cards like that, them little hot market cards that are out there currently, and that's the opportunities that I'm seeing in the graded market versus the sealed product market. Yeah, sealed product's great. It's pretty much, it's going to do really well. You wait, even a year, 2, 3, whatever you wait, it's probably going to go up in money. I mean, there's probably not very many booster boxes or ETBs that are going to go down in value from where you purchase them unless you purchase them really high. If you're waiting for a lower market, if you can get a booster box under 100, even under 80 or under 90, you're going to make bank on that thing. It's going to go up eventually. It's not going to stay down there that forever. It's going to move. ETBs, if you can get them around the $30 range, of course, they're going to go up in price from there. So once again, comparison-wise, you're definitely looking at it. Now, what's the downsides? And I'm going to start doing this more and more because I got away from it again. Is talking about the downsides of grading. Grading is always a risk. Number one, you have the chance of items being lost in shipment. It sucks. It really does. It hurts. It happens with sealed products too. But when you're dealing with so many graded cards, and if you're going into this, you might potentially be sending a lot more. You're bringing, like a case of booster boxes is one case, and then insurance is easy to deal with, but sometimes you're selling a lot of different cards, a lot of different single slabs are going all different directions, and there's an opportunity for loss in mail. And we know how well USPS and is at keeping track of packages. It happens way more than it really should. But overall, it does do well in that format. So once again, you're going to have the concern of loss of shipping. We have it with everything. It's just a lot more prevalent there. The second risk you're really running is that you are going to have to understand that there is risk involved, that all these cards may not come back in the grade you think. If you think it's a 10 and it comes back an 8, you're going to break even or lose money on most grading when it comes down to it. There are some niche markets that if you can find some really good cards at like your local card shop or in a collection, you buy some bulk collections, you buy somebody's binder collections, that's the best way to do it. I'm just going off of market pricing to show you the availability. But if you actually go and purchase these cards in lower prices than what we're getting here, you get a little bit more wiggle room when it comes down to it. But definitely do your research on these cards and see if there is that wiggle room available. You don't want to put yourself too far negative, but there's always that risk when it comes down to graded cards. But there's always the graded risk of it too, of hitting that big hit like that $860 one. That would be a huge boost to your income level if you could actually hit that card. Even at 9s, you're doing well. So once again, do your research on these cards and try and get them at rock bottom prices. There are some binder collections. There are some opportunities out there that give you a little bit better opportunity when it comes down to it at that point. But once again, just want to point it out. I'm trying to give you the negatives and things that you could worry about. Second thing that you can always worry about is PSA taking longer than 2 to 3 months. You're at the mercy of them. You need to understand that PSA has been doing really well on turnaround times on a lot of accounts. It doesn't mean that some things don't fall through the cracks and fall further and further behind, and thus you may be missing some market opportunities when it comes down to it. Some people are still just getting back their submissions from 2020. It's crazy to think that the early 2021, late 2020, that people are just getting their submissions back here 2 years later. In 2 years, what has the Pokemon market done, and how much opportunities have been lost in those graded cards? That's a big problem that we could potentially see with PSA. Do I see it happening? No, of course not. I don't think PSA is going to get in that position again anytime soon, unless something really and majorly happens in this market. It's just not going to happen. They've got too much upgrades, too many things happening, too many opportunities. They're pushing for those sales. And after pushing for those sales, that means they're having a reduced in the amount of people that are trying to grade. They're trying to keep the people bringing cards in. They're trying to keep their people working. And that's why you're going to continue to see these promotions as we move forward. But overall, it is a risk that if a lot of people all of a sudden mass submit a bunch of cards, you could miss some time frames on some of these cards. Once again, it's a risk reward. Is it riskier than, of course, sealed products? Of course it is. It's going to be riskier when it comes down to it when you're doing these kind of processes. But overall, the upsides of this look a lot better and a lot more opportunities for your investment or your business side of things. If you're trying to run this like a business to get money from these graded cards in order to purchase sealed product, it's a great opportunity right here to be using the grading side to be doing that. And I know some grading card guys are going to be like, please stop saying this. Please stop telling people to do this because we don't want to flood that market out again. But I think it's definitely, if you're in the investment side, it's something you should be looking at. I think there's some great opportunities in it. I'm going to be doing more of those opportunities. I'm going to be testing it out, and I'll keep you up to date, of course. If I'm doing things like this and I'm moving more into a different direction, I'll definitely keep you up to date. Am I going to stop doing sealed product? Absolutely not. I'm going to be buying sealed product. I do believe that I want to try, my goal is that this year, every set of Scarlet and Violet, I want to put at least 24 booster boxes of each one away going in the future. I'm trying to go back in time and get some good timing for some of the older sets, because a lot of them I have 12 booster boxes or 6. I want to try and booster all those up at a reasonable price. If I can get them at a little bit lower pricing, do some deals, I might try and get all of them up 24. That's just my ultimate goal. That's my business vision for this year, is to have that growth and to have that, that sealed product kind of back up behind it. So once again, these are just things I wanted to discuss today. Definitely wanted to point out the graded market, what opportunities are showing up and look like are going to be available. And other than that, guys, hopefully you guys get some good information out of this. Hopefully this helps you. If you're looking at going in that direction, hopefully this puts your mind at ease that you're not the only person that might be seeing these numbers, and that you can actually move on, and that maybe sealed isn't as big of a king that some channels are making it sound out to be. Yes, it's secure. I get it. but it's definitely maybe not the king of Pokemon investing as much as just a safety net in Pokemon investing. So other than that, guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Is this something that you guys are interested in? Should I continue talking about sealed, and should I put my journey as I move forward in sealed or integrated cards on the screen? I'll keep you up to date regardless if you want it. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think about it. Do you think the opportunity's there, or is it just something I'm missing? Definitely point it out. Other than that, if you did make it this far into the video, as always, hit that subscribe, guys. We are just keep trucking right along. You guys are doing fantastic. Once again, giveaway information down below. Be sure you check out the links down below. If you are a subscriber of this channel, be sure you go to the link and fill that out. Once again, if you are not a subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe. Hit that like, guys. It helps a ton. That's one way to beat this algorithm. Sometimes it can become a little bit of a bear. It's kind of slowing down for me again. It's like my wave is running out. So hit that like button, guys. It really pushes me forward. And as always, if you do like this content, check out these two videos over here. I will put them up for you afterwards for your entertainment and information. And we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.